Hi everyone, welcome to Comedy Spurs TV, where we do everything Spurs, but with a slight Nigerian bent to it. However, today we're reviewing, or previewing rather, the World Cup semi-final matches. We'll have a quick look at what happened for us to get there. With me, I have Chuma. Chuma is our resident guru, as I like to call him. Right, so in the meantime, come on ye Spurs. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so excited. I mean, for me, this has probably been the best World Cup ever. I mean, I guess people are going to come up and say, yes, every World Cup seems to be the best one ever. But however, this one has so much. I mean, we're calling it underdog, so many upsets, so many interesting matchups that have got us to the last four. Where at the last four, come on, you Spurs TV. I've got Chuma with me today. So much to look forward to. Welcome back, Chuma. How are you?
Oh, I'm super good. I'm super good, Soji. This World Cup is in keeping in line with our platform's theme. It's average, average World Cup. What an average World Cup, full of average players doing average things.
I know.
And for those who don't, for those of you out there, common ye Spurs nation that don't understand, it's an in-house joke where good players are labeled average if they're interested in moving to Spurs or if Spurs have an interest in them. And every time a good player comes up, he's average. So this World Cup has had amazing players, but we'll just label them average. This World Cup has had amazing matches, we'll label it average. But average is good. So just clarifying.
Average is a new good, isn't it?
Average is the new good. Average is the new good indeed.
Honestly, I mean, who would have thought that a World Cup that has had so much criticism, so much negative press, holding in November and December, and I mean, we're now coming to Christmas and we're talking about World Cup. But for me, it has simply been the best ever. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, we're down to what, the last four. Okay, so let's have a look at the last four matchups. We've got France. So we've got
Yep.
France and Morocco, Argentina against Croatia. Now, who would have thought up as this would be the last four pairings? I mean, okay, let's go back a little bit and say, on paper, it probably not a huge surprise if you think that. Okay, if you think that in the first place we had France and Croatia as last year's finalists, right?
Yes.
Argentina
The
won the
last
World
World Cup.
Cup a couple of times. Now
Yes.
the dark horses or the big surprise there obviously is Morocco.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
on paper you probably want to write off Morocco as nothing's going to happen with Morocco. I mean, let's even have a look and see how we got there in the first place. I mean, if we think that, okay, we we had the last eight matches and they came up with, I mean, what, this amazing results um that got us up to here. I mean, we had what do we have? We had um Argentina faced Netherlands, didn't they, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then we had we had Brazil against Croatia. We also had um, what do we have again? We had England, France, yep,
Morocco and Portugal.
and Morocco and Portugal. Now this is how things turned out in the end. Now,
Yeah.
okay, I think we predicted that Netherlands might go through, or I think you had Netherlands as, yeah, or you had Argentina, didn't you? I had Netherlands, right?
I had Argentina going through. Yeah.
Right. Okay, and that came to pass in the end. But it's probably one of the tastiest matches you've ever come across because we had
Yes,
so
it
much drama
was.
in that match. We had
So much.
10 minutes. I mean, with Argentina leading 2-0, right?
With less than 10 minutes to
With
go.
less than 10 minutes to go, you think, oh, this is it. The match is gone. And literally with the last kick of the match. Now, not only did the Netherlands score, but they scored with an amazing free kick. You know, that free kick was the last kick of the match, and everyone expected him to go over the wall, and just played a pass to Vegas. Vegas came and scored 2 goals within the last 10 minutes as a substitute. I mean,
Yes,
what a match!
it
What
was an
a
amazing,
match! You know,
amazing match.
I mean, crazy matches is what I call it. You know, so I mean, that was a match and a half. I mean, with all that drama going on in the midst of that match, and you think, oh wow, you've seen it all, haven't you? Now, we then have penalties, and you had that incident where, I mean, of course, you had the players goading each other, you know, Dutch players trying to put off the Argentines, you know. There's so much going on, and I mean, you had people, I mean, plenty of, you had the last kick of the match. I think one of the I don't remember which of the players kicked the ball against the on the subs bench on the dugout, the Dutch dugout, and that incensed so much going
Yeah.
on in that match.
Oh yeah.
You know,
There was a lot going on. A lot. There's so many hidden. Like Messi had a particular celebration that we find out later on. We found out at the end of the game was inspired by one of his heroes growing up, Riquelme. And Riquelme was this brilliant playmaker for Argentina who
yes,
moved to Barcelona, and he was coached by Luis Van Gaal. How I describe? I like Luis Van Gaal as a Nigerian. You'd probably credit Luis Van Gaal with being the one who helped Finidi George and Kanu Wanko become better players, and they helped his Ajax side. But a lot of players, he did a lot of things that sort of like if you didn't buy his way, he would end your career. And Riquelme came in as this playmaker, but he wanted something different. But Barcelona, it was a Barcelona buy more than a Luis Van Gaal buy, and he proceeded to really make Riquelme's life hell in Barcelona, and Riquelme ended up leaving. So Argentinian fans have always held it against Luis Van Gaal. They don't like him as a person. You know, Brazilians as well. He did the same thing to Rivaldo, who was a star when he arrived, and he wanted to shunt him somewhere else, and he eventually ended Rivaldo's stay at Barcelona. So Luis Van Gaal is someone who is, a friend of mine said it, he's liked but not loved. And
yeah,
Messi made it a point, and I think he said something in the press about Messi. So Messi made it a point, because Messi is such a mild-mannered boy, like he has his diva moments, but he doesn't really do it a lot. But he came out in this one, he was very antagonistic. Even at the end of the thing, Vegas wanted to talk to him. He was swearing at him. It was a very, and Argentina and Holland have had their problems. Like you and I were talking off air,
yeah,
78 World Cup, things happened in that World Cup as well that the Dutch took personally. So they've had their beef moments. So it all exploded. The emotions of this World Cup have been unbelievable. Every game.
absolutely. Well, Argentina ended up winning 4-2 on penalties, and proceeded to the next round to where we are today. I mean, some would say the results, well, not quite the result of the round, or the first shock of the day was probably Brazil going out to Croatia on penalties as well. I mean, again, another.
I wasn't surprised.
Well, you weren't surprised. I'm talking about the most. I said most. I said a lot of people will say this.
Yeah,
Chuma,
no, I know.
remember, you're not
It
most.
was
You
no,
are not.
because I funnily enough, there's a member of the Nigerian Spurs platform. He actually texts me, and I think this I will not disclose his name but he was actually going to bet on the games. So I didn't know he was betting on the games. The guy texted me in the morning to go, Chuma, what are your thoughts? I was like, oh, cool. And this is off. I was like, I said, dude, I actually said Brazil would beat Croatia, but you know what? In hindsight, I think it might be an upset loading. I actually put that for him. Upset loading. Argentina go through. France beat England. I said Morocco, Portugal, another upset. And everything I said to him happened. So he looked at it and said, there's no way Croatia is beating. And he now bets. So that messed up his betting. He
Oh wow.
bets he bet Brazil to beat Croatia. So everything I told him, I said, well, you know what? It's best to hinge your bets that on the fact that it could be hedge your bets on the fact that I
Right,
think
exactly. So
Croatia
head
could
your
get
bets. I
Morocco.
mean, bets one way and bet the other way. You know.
Yeah, he just went all out. Brazil's winning this. And I put it on certain groups, and certain people were laughing at me when Neymar scored the goal. They said, "Oh," I said, oh, you know, and Croatia came through, and all I can say, I think it was a battle of the midfields for me. And Croatia's midfield were 3 against 2, and not just any three. Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic. Those guys are players.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
while they were very good at handling
Bags and
possession,
bags of experience, you know. And
yes, Modric is an eternal. He's an immortal. He's like how we describe Kante. Modric is that kind of guy. He's an immortal. He's a football immortal. He just can't age. He's just his experience, his wisdom on the pitch, the way he uses the ball, the way he understands ebb and flow of the game is, yeah, unprecedented. And yeah, it was still a shock because Brazil took the lead, similar to the Dutch thing.
yeah,
Right at the end of the match, we're like,
yeah. Right
there's
at the
no
end of the
way.
match,
Like,
you're
yeah,
thinking, yeah, they have this in the bag. They're more or less almost celebrating, if you like, you know. And for me,
yes, and that, yes,
from a
yeah.
game management perspective, they probably took their eye off the ball, you know. But credit to
They took
Croatia
their
to
eye
come
off the
back, you
ball.
know,
Yeah,
from the dead like that, and come in and steal the place of them again extra time. And some people would say that
and yeah,
I mean, one of the
yeah,
reasons why penalty shootouts, right? They always say put your best player first, right? And for some reason,
yeah. Oh
they
goodness,
Brazil
Neymar. Yeah,
backloaded rather front load, they backloaded and put what's the word, Neymar towards the end. He ended up not even kicking the ball, you know, which obviously put
yeah,
Croatia
yeah.
through. Yeah, so yeah, we had Croatia in that matchup, and then Argentina. So it looks like, well, it turned out to be Argentina and Croatia who are meeting in that half of the draw. On the other
Semi-final.
half of the draw,
Yes,
now, I mean, the first match of that day was Morocco against Portugal. Now,
Portugal.
on
Yes,
paper, Portugal odds on to win. Dark horses Morocco, not a chance in hell, right?
yes.
Talk us through this one, Chuma.
You know, and it wasn't even that. It was even the game leading up to this. How Portugal blew away the Swiss. You
Yeah,
know, 6. It was like everyone's like, Morocco are lambs to the slaughter. But as you and I know, this World Cup has thrown up a case of. I think this is the first World Cup where there seemed to be no respect for hierarchy.
absolutely.
It's 90 minutes. Anything can happen.
Yep,
And inevitably anything can, because even with Croatia, we could say Croatia is a big country and Croatia made the last World Cup final. But in this particular edition, Croatia looked like underdogs because
absolutely.
Croatia, we always thought they'll get bounced out of the groups. We thought they'll get bounced out in the second round. And here they are, they're now. So they're kind of underdogs, but not to the extent of Morocco. No African team has made a semi final, the first African team to make a semi final. And with Morocco is a case of they are a very well organized unit. They are not individuals. They are a unit,
Amazing.
and
Well,
it
we'll look at
speaks so yeah,
the credentials in a minute,
yeah.
but I mean,
In a read, yeah.
for
But
I mean, on paper,
it
I
was yeah,
mean, they had no chance, and yeah, I mean, and then obviously ended up ruining, well, not ruining, but hey, as dashing Mr. Ronaldo's legacy, if you like. You know, he ended up not winning any World Cup, well, because presumably this is his last chance at World Cup glory. You know, so yeah, good night, Cristiano, in terms of World Cup football. Yeah, right. We came up England and Portugal. So England and France. Right. I had my hopes on England, and I wanted England to win, of course. For a number of reasons, Harry Kane, of course. I mean, boys in England, you know. So yeah, I mean, and I mean, it's okay. So it's one of these matches when you watch it. France's first goal came out of nowhere. You think, what happened there? You know, and next thing you know, the ball's in the nets. You know, one moment of brilliance. You know, now in matches of this nature, it's things like that win those matches. You know,
yeah.
a moment of brilliance, an error from somebody, or somebody, you know, not doing their job well, and you know something happens. In this case, I felt that that was the key moment in that match. You know, that goal from Shumeni. Now,
yeah.
but however, they still had a chance to come back, but some people will point to the officiating and say that okay, maybe the referee, had a not too good day in terms of the officiating, because I mean, if you look at
Yeah, but leading up to the first goal, leading up to the first goal,
yeah,
Saka was fouled. It was a foul.
you mean the second goal? You mean?
But we've seen those things given, and sometimes no. The first one, the Chouameni goal,
Oh,
Saka was
exactly,
dispossessed. It was the
absolutely,
breakout
yeah,
from that led to
exactly. So I mean that for me
Saka was fouled. The guy
that goal
literally,
should not have stood,
what's
right?
his name? Yeah, came on his thigh. Yes.
Yeah.
So you could say that, but it's kind of like France have suffered the same thing before in their history. There's a World Cup, they didn't qualify for the 94 World Cup because our nearest and dearest, David Ginola, lost possession in a game against Bulgaria. Bulgaria ran all the way to the end and Conceding scored. These people who back in the day go and Google it or YouTube it.
Mhm.
But they blamed Ginola's career in France ended. He had to move out of the country during Newcastle because he was viewed as. So you look at that moment and it's sort of eerily similar that Saka lost possession not because he was bad with the ball, but because it was a clear foul. His thigh was taken from him and the
Yeah,
ball ran loose. And just that single thing cost Chouameni's goal. You have to look at it that way.
absolutely. So I mean, I guess
So
from an England perspective, that was very very poor.
it felt hard done by.
From France's perspective, hey, hard lines, you move on, you play to the whistle. However, I mean, you play to the whistle means in modern football, where we are now, where we have VAR, you're meant to go back, if it's within the same phase of play. That was meant to be within the same phase of play. In the end, ended up not being given one of the controversies of VAR in this World Cup. And I think I'm not sure the officiating has covered itself in glory in some respects. But England seemed to be at the receiving end of this unfortunate decision making. Anyway, but however, I mean, England still had a chance to draw level, and unfortunately, ah, I'm carrying a cup of Mr. Kane, huh? To add, eh?
And thankfully, your coffee isn't spilling out.
It's
It,
not,
it hasn't
not,
missed. It
not
hasn't
over.
missed the mark.
I know. Unfortunately, he missed that
So
penalty.
you know, it
Um,
had to happen to someone,
yeah,
and
so,
it's so
yeah,
unfortunate that
yeah. So that
it happened. I think, yeah,
but then again,
I think he was
it's it's
thinking.
it's if or not. I mean, even if he scored the penalty, it didn't guarantee that. I mean, the goal will go England's way anyway because I mean, still had potentially extra time and potentially penalty. It could have gone either way. So, but at least that would have kept England in the match.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, unfortunately, these things happen. France goes through, um, leaving us with a France Morocco matchup. Right, let's do look. Let's look at the matchups and see what we're looking at. Semi-final matchup. So we have what have we got here? We've got France, Morocco, Argentina, Croatia. Now,
Awesome.
where do we start on these ones? Should we look at the Argentina, Morocco,
I would
Croatia
say
match first, or should we look at the?
I think we look at that's the first game. So Argentina Croatia is the first. I think we should go Croatia Argentina. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, okay. So let's first look at Croatia, right? For me, who I mean, Croatia. In some cases, you say define the odds to be where they are now, because you look at their group. Okay, they came second in the group, behind Morocco, right?
Yes.
And they had in that group, you had Morocco, you had Belgium, you had Croatia, and then you had Canada. Canada, okay, in theory, the whipping boys of that group. But everyone expected Croatia and Belgium to go through. Morocco were the dark horses, but came up as group leaders in the end. But the key for me has been how Croatia have sort of marched through this whole World Cup in their methodical fashion, you know, and it had a number of outstanding players. But for me, these two players have sort of stood out, because Perisic has been so consistent. I mean, Chuma, what did you reckon? I mean, in come up with this with these two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the goalkeeper, his name escapes me for whatever reason today,
Oh,
but I
Dominic
think he has been
Livakovic. Dominic Livakovic.
Levakovic. That's his name,
Yes.
Levakovic.
Yeah.
Levakovic has in Nigerian English, he has sold his market. He
Right.
has completely like I think he will end up at a big team or wherever team he's at right now. Their club president is licking his lips because this guy is going to fetch a lot of money if they sell him. He's box office. You
Yeah.
know, he's very very good at closing down
Croatian
angles.
club, doesn't he? For yeah, Zagreb.
Yeah, he makes his body so big. He's been he's played out of his skin in this World Cup, and not just in the penalties, but even in regular games. The way the boy closes down angles and makes himself big, spreads himself. He would tip a shot over. He would stretch. He's just been really amazing. Perisic, this is no Tottenham bias as Tottenham fans. Perisic is playing left wing in this thing, not even left fullback or left wing back or anything like that. And he has just been a very, very good outlet. He has crossed balls, he has created overloads, and then that goal where he headed the ball for the equalizer.
Oh,
He's just been
that was
that
such a
that
goal.
header looks simple. If you watch that thing several times, that cross from Lovren, he had to guide that ball and put an extra spin on it to get it away from that
Yeah.
Japanese keeper. And that to me was like
That
you
was a
have to have his
key moment in that match, because
key
that
moment.
ensured that they got into the quarterfinals, and with a chance to play Brazil.
Exactly. And exactly. And you know, they are the most experienced side, I think. Like when you look at how long their players have been playing together, I think they're the most experienced side here. And you often think age means you're slower, you're not this, but they have used their experience and made it count. So
Absolutely.
I can't look down on them at all. It's just, their opponents are Argentina, and Argentina have a player who is on a legacy quest.
Yep,
He's on a huge legacy quest. And that would be the thing. But Croatia have done themselves. They've they've done more than expected to make a semi-final,
they have. They
and
have.
you can't rule them out of continuing to a final.
Yeah, but if you also
You know?
think about it,
So
if you think about it,
they,
also, if you also think about it, they were in the last semi-finals. So they were in the finals last year, one day, in the last World
they were
Cup.
last semi-finals and final. Yes, indeed, the World Cup. Yes,
Yeah, so they've got.
but what
I
are
mean,
the odds of repeating?
well, this is it. So they've got pedigree in that respect. So hey,
Exactly.
I'm not even going to sort of look down on them at all, or say that they don't stand a chance. But Messi is on the glory quest, isn't he? So that would be a big
He's
big
on a
thing.
quest to steal his legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, legacy quest as well. So it's like we that is going to be a tough match. I mean, before we look at Argentina, I mean, some people say, I mean, okay, so I mean, I'm not going to go into politics here, but I mean, I'm not a great fan of Argentina for many reasons, and I think one of the key factors for me has always been the what you might call the attitude towards black people, and now that's a little bit, well, it's a bit of a what you might call a big thing, but hey, that's not what we're here today. But that's my reason for not being a big fan of Argentina. However,
I'm a huge fan.
however, they have a a magician in that young man called Messi. I mean, he's just different class. And I mean, I'm not into the Ronaldo Messi debate thing, but I mean, you've got to give credit where credit is due. The young man is just magical. He does things with the ball you don't even think it's possible. I mean,
No, yeah.
what's your
You
take
need
on,
to. You need.
on Messi?
You, you need to put his picture up as well. Let's have a look at
Well, I'm gonna put this picture up, but see, I just wanted to, I wanted to sort of put that up.
well, Croatia are on.
Yeah,
It's
I know Croatia are on, but
Messi is no, I'm just saying Messi is, I'm just joking, but Messi is like, we don't like to get involved in that argument, and you and I know, God knows that we've seen that prop up on our platform time without number.
Yeah.
People have been warned. People have been threatened. Stop, stop. It still finds a way to creep in some way, somehow. And everybody is team this and team that. I respect the fact that I love the fact that I live in an era where two players have been hugely monumental in moving football forward and moving the discussion forward. Like, back growing up, we just had one player that you know would be the greatest, and that in my growing up time was Diego Maradona. He still is for me. My dad's time would have been Pele. Still is for my dad's era. So to have to be living in a
Are you
time where
suggesting
two players are
are
so
you suggesting I'm old
evenly
enough to be your
matched.
dad? Hello?
Sorry,
So
sorry. What?
are you
What did
suggesting
you
I'm
say?
old enough
Sorry,
to
I
be your
missed that.
dad? Because Pele is one of my.
Well, if Pele is your guy, no, but I mean from the
Definitely,
standpoint of watching,
without a doubt.
yeah,
Because growing
standpoint
up,
of watching them play. And
yeah,
maybe you watch Pele play. My argument has always been, even with my dad and my dad's friend, I never watched Pele play. I've watched highlights and videos,
oh,
but Maradona, I watched.
I
I
remember
watched
very,
Mara, and I've
very,
watched.
very well. 70 World Cup. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
puts
wow,
in
like
memory, like
yeah.
yeah, it's
So
amazing.
that's the thing. I think if you watch them play, you have a greater. But then it was one player becomes the man. So you had Pele, and I think you sort of transitioned into Cruyff. Then you transitioned into
Uh,
Maradona and
yeah,
Zico for a while, but more
yeah,
Maradona. He
Omar,
dominated
uh,
for years.
yeah,
And then the world was moving between different players: the Brazilian Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo. Different players were now coming
so,
as Zidane. We
yeah,
just didn't have a guy. And then Messi comes out. In the same era, Messi comes out, Cristiano Ronaldo comes out. We've never had that. But as much as you'd want to say you are, what's the word? What's that word when two countries are fighting and you don't want to be involved? Non-aligned.
yes, yeah, you're
That's the word.
neutral.
Non-aligned countries. You want to be non-aligned. You want to be Switzerland, so to speak.
Hmm.
You can't help but pick a side, but you don't want to declare publicly. And I will come out and say publicly that I love Messi. I love Messi, and I really respect Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. But love and respect are two different things. And
Yeah, I think where the argument really lies is for a lot of people who fancy both people, like you said. I mean, for different reasons. I mean, I think people love Messi for his skills, right? And I think people respect Ronaldo for his tenacity, his hard work,
yes,
and despite
hard
not having
work.
many skills or despite not being as skillful as um, Messi,
Messi.
he still managed to remain at the top of his game through sheer hard work. You know, I think that's what a lot
Yes,
of people
yes,
find attractive about Cristiano Ronaldo. You won't call him a midfielder. You won't call him. But you know that if you get the ball to him, he will score. But Messi
yes,
can be a
yes.
playmaker. He can create chances.
Messi's oh yes.
And
Messi, yes.
he can be all
Messi's
over the field. And it's very even if you try to man mark him out of the game, he still always finds a way. He is the one that makes things happen. Ronaldo,
yes.
you need to get the ball to him, but I won't see Ronaldo creating chances. I won't see him having assists the way Messi has assists. I think
Yes,
Messi for
and
me
that's
is
yeah.
like the engine room of his team. Even though ultimately Ronaldo will score, he will score amazing goals. He has amazing headers. Uh, great free kicks. But I think on a skill level, they're not much at all in my view. That's my honest opinion.
So
Even
there's
though
yeah,
I'm
there's
not a great fan of
yeah.
either player, but hey, there you go.
Well,
There you go.
you're very no, you're very right because I think a friend of mine put this analogy in this way. He said you could have an orchestra and you have a wonderful soloist,
Yeah,
but the conductor is actually more important than all the instrumentalists.
there you go. There you go.
Conductors are highly touted,
That's
and
such
yeah,
an apt description of
and I looked at it, and that's the thing.
yeah. That's
Cristiano Ronaldo is a wonderful soloist. He is a man who you give him an instrument and he will produce the best music. But there's another person who can play music but has chosen to conduct everything to make everything work. Ronaldo is right now. If you want to win today, you get him. But if you want to win for a long time and get your other players to rise, you get a Messi. And that's the difference, I think, between the two.
And if
And
you remember, I think if you look at the match, I think it was a match against Netherlands, right? The first goal that Argentina scored. I mean, how do
beautiful.
you thread that sort of pass through the eye of a needle? That is
Through
absolutely,
a Dutch defense with
you know,
Virgil van Dijk.
exactly. I mean, let's not even go into Van Dijk debate now. But hey,
Oh,
it's
just yeah, but just saying
yeah,
these are my cousin has this term, he calls it like qualified guys. You're qualified, these are qualified defenders, these are Champions League guys.
yeah. I mean,
And in the high stakes match like that, Messi does a slide rule pass through them. It's just unheard of, and he's going to do it. Everyone knew that Messi cuts in on his left and he's going to make a pass,
yeah. But there's nothing
but
you do about it.
you can, it's
But
like
you
Arjen
cannot
Robben.
do anything about it. That,
Robben, we all knew about Robben. Yeah,
yeah,
we know Robben is going to go left foot. Robben is going left, but you can't stop it. You knew Messi was either going to play a pass to the left back, cut across back, but you can't stop it. And that's the mark of genius. You
yeah.
know,
That's
little things like that.
it's amazing, amazing. Now, where are we gonna start? I mean, so if you had to sort of give a prediction on that match, Croatia and Argentina, what would you go with?
So because of the fact I think they've made it to the semi-finals, and because of the fact I think the Argentinian players want Messi to leave as the guy, I think if you watch them, they are really playing for him as well. He's lifting them, but they are playing for him. They are really playing for him. They are busting a gut for him. And I think my heart says Argentina to make that final. My heart says Argentina to make the final. However, however, on the other side, we have our ex-Tottenham guy who is
Uncle Luca,
himself a legacy underrated,
Uncle Luca.
underrated
Oh
legacy
my
player.
God, he's such a player, isn't he?
Luka Modric. Luka Modric, who broke the hegemony of Cristiano Ronaldo this by winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
The one man who has broken that winning streak for those two gentlemen.
yeah.
Underrated. He's an underrated, overrated player. He's a player everybody in the world respects. It's hard to call it Luka Modric underrated, but he is, but he isn't. Because as soon as you mention his
Average,
name,
eh?
people know. It reminds you of Andres Iniesta of Spain and Barcelona. Underrated guy, but overrated, underrated. He's someone everybody knows. He's great, but in the scheme of everybody around him, you just go. Modric doesn't get the highlights, and I don't think he's gotten the accolades he deserves for who he is and what he has done. But you recognize him, but I don't think he's been recognized as much, and nobody can see how influential he is. That man is he's a midfield dynamo. He's technically gifted. He's humble on a pitch, and he makes his teammates play better.
Absolutely.
And that's all you can ask. And something about him as well. Also, they want him to leave on a legacy. They've had the experience of a semi-final. They had more recent semi-final experience than I think in a World Cup than Argentina, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at those guys, but in my heart is Argentina. If I was going down now, I'd say Argentina and Messi to start. I
Okay,
think Messi can taste it now.
fair enough. All right, so I think I mean I'm going for a Croatia win, 2-1 to Croatia, break Messi's heart. Yeah, that's me. I know Zeus will come after me, but hey Zeus, if you're watching this, I'd love to hear your comment on what you think of my opinion, right? Right.
Zeus, please come on. Zeus, we want you to come on and explain to him why.
We should have Zeus on one of these days, shouldn't we? Anyway,
Messi fan club leader.
absolutely. Right. So you go Argentina 1-0, 2-0.
What I'd say 1-0. 1-0 to Argentina.
So I go Croatia 2-1. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Right. Moving on swiftly to France and
Morocco.
and Morocco. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's this is the match for me, right? This is the match for me because on many levels it's like a dream semi-final if you like. Like France is like the colony against the
the
and the colonial masters, right?
the colonial masters.
Because
Yes.
Morocco used to be a colony of France
Oh,
back in the day, and here we're meeting, both meeting in the semi-finals of the World Cup. What a matchup! I mean, on paper, France would, well, I guess, wallop them if you like, but we've seen what's happened in the World Cup so far, and we cannot. No one in his right mind would say that would try and predict that outcome, because if you think about it, everybody that has bet against Morocco has come a cropper, haven't they?
yes, they have. They have. They
you
have.
know, I
They have.
mean, they did Spain, they did who were the other ones they did? They did Belgium. Who else did they do with before this one? And
Yeah, they done Belgium. They done Spain. They done. Who did they have? Portugal.
they
So
done
Belgium, Spain,
exactly,
Portugal.
exactly. So I
So
mean,
it's
it's
those are
these
scouts.
are
Those
these
are
are the
major
top, these are
scouts.
top teams in the world, not just in Europe, top teams in the world. And guess what? Morocco have only conceded one goal this World Cup. And
Wow.
guess what? It was an own goal.
Wow. Wow.
No one has scored against them.
It tells you. It
No
tells you
opponent has scored
everything.
against them. So it tells you how how amazing their performance has been so far. The defense has been super organized. Now, I mean, France. I mean, the key performance of France this World Cup. I mean, I can't. I mean, it's a no-brainer if you ask me. I mean, Mbappe has just been absolutely outstanding. Probably going to win the Golden Boot now because he's got 5 goals, hasn't he?
Yes. Yes.
I think the nearest person to him has 3 goals, right?
Yes. Yes.
And they're all out. I mean, how many goals has
Percy,
Perisic scored?
I think Percy scored two.
Right. So yeah,
Yes. So
and
yeah.
then there's, I mean,
So
I'm
yeah,
not sure.
he's odds on. Maybe Giroud can probably overturn it. I think Giroud has got two or three.
Yeah, because I said this
Maybe
exactly.
Giroud, his own teammate, maybe, but it's
So
his
I mean,
golden boots to
odds on
lose.
Golden Boot winner. So and amazing Giroud. Giroud is like the classic example of never giving up. You know, who would have
Yeah.
thought that Giroud is 31 now, isn't he? Right,
Yes.
and he outscoring Thierry Henry. I mean, I wouldn't even mention Thierry Henry and Giroud in the same sentence. You know, but to achieve
Yeah.
that level
He has. Yeah. Yeah.
is just
And with
simply,
another stat as well.
yeah, it's
He
just,
only started playing for France at 25.
can you believe that?
6
So
years.
that is absolutely amazing. It's not it's not to be snipped at all. It's not something you want to snip at all. And I mean, kudos to him. He deserved. I mean, unfortunately, he plays for one of those, well, two of those teams that we don't particularly like in our part of the world. But hey, you know, is he gets the accolade that he deserves. Very very well deserved. Well done, Drew. Right. So
Someone said something quite interesting. Sorry for cutting you. And he said, um, this is after he scored the goal against England, which turned out to be the winner. He said that was a Paolo Rossi goal. And I said to myself, exactly.
absolutely,
It's just, yeah, Paolo Rossi, for the fans out there, the young fans out there, 1982 World Cup. He
yes.
just kept popping up in places and scored three
And
goals
scoring
against
goals.
Brazil and knocked
And
them
after
out.
the World Cup, they disappear from
Giroud
the
is
scene totally.
somebody said I was reading the commentary leading up to that point on the BBC, and someone said, "Where is Giroud?" And one guy said exactly the same question Arsenal fans asked for 6 years, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, no sooner had the guy written that,
Yeah,
Giroud popped in, and I said, "That's why you have players like him. It's that little unexpected point. You put them there, you put the ball in front of them. It's at the back of the net.
yeah,
It's just you just don't." You can't count them out. They may have no touches. Giroud had minimal touches in that entire game up until that goal. He barely did anything. He didn't hold up the ball. He didn't. All of a sudden, he gets his chance, his moment, and bang, goal.
Absolutely.
So that's what I credit him with. Is Mbappe is all action, all movement. This guy doesn't have to move. He just positions himself and he's going to score.
And
That's what
it's no
Morocco have
coincidence
to
that the
watch
top
out
scorers in the world of football tend to be in the right position at the right time. You
for.
know, it's
Goal
called
hangers,
movement, it's
yeah.
called intelligence, it's called being anticipating the right, being in the right place at the right time.
Goal hangers, yes.
And that is a skill that you've got to develop as a striker. Every striker will tell you
Yes.
that's a skill that it's
Yes.
almost like inborn. It's like it's in your DNA. And the top
Yes.
strikers all seem to have them. For me, for me, let's just take a bow, Morocco. Honestly, let's just give Morocco a big round of applause. Honestly, we can't but hail Morocco. Semi-final of the World Cup. Even if they go out at this stage, they would have done themselves proud, right? But guess what? I have this strong feeling that Morocco don't plan not to get to the final. you know,
Yeah.
and what a match it would be if Morocco turn out winners. On Wednesday. It's not to be ruled out. I'm going for a Morocco win, 1-0. I don't know because I know that they'll be under a lot of pressure. I know they'll be under a lot of pressure from France, who exactly wouldn't want the same thing that happened to Portugal to happen to them. So, they got Mbappe. But however, you have Morocco, who have amazing, amazing, amazing team. For me, the two star performers in that team have got to be, Bono and Sufyan Amrabat. What do you reckon? Do you agree with me?
So I'll go back. I'll go back historically, and I'll tell you this: the biggest thing the Moroccan government or the Moroccan Football Association they did two big things. They invested $70 million in training complexes, five-star hotel, all this for football, not for sport, football.
Wow.
And they've been able to develop their football, their grassroots footballers, their underage teams, their women's teams as well. And that investment by their government has been huge because when the players come from foreign countries, the ones in diaspora coming to play for Morocco, they are playing on the same level, same pitches. FIFA used Morocco to do coaching training courses and stuff like that. It's a place their national team benefits greatly. That's the first bit. The second bit was, I don't know if you remember, they had a coach. Their former manager was a European manager, a guy called um, Vali Hodzic, who was a former PSG striker. He's one of those guys that's done the rounds in Africa as well. He's coached a few African nations. And this man, his style of management is very confrontational. He coached PSG at one time during the period they didn't win. He's
Mm-hmm.
one of those guys that falls out with very good players. And because of him, certain players refused to represent Morocco, one of which was Hakim Ziyech.
Right.
Hakim Ziyech did not play in their last World Cup or whatever. Certain guys did not turn up for the national team because they just did not like this man. One of the biggest things Moroccan FA did was getting rid of that man and putting in a former Moroccan player, former Moroccan international as manager. That man brought all the best players together. They have respect for him. And boom, he realized that the only way Morocco could win was we have to get rid of individuality and think in terms of team.
Team.
What is good for the team?
Yeah. What's
Which
good for
players are good for the team?
Mm.
And if you watch it, you're seeing Hakim Ziyech, who I've loved and followed for years, even though he plays for our enemies. He's tracking back. He's doing things he doesn't do for in club football. He's doing it for his country. You're looking at another great player they have on the left wing, a guy called Sofiane Boufal.
Oh,
Heavily talented guy.
honestly, he's such an amazing player as well. He plays for
Amazing player, but he came to
Southampton.
Southampton, and Southampton
Yes.
fans will tell you he's rubbish. He will shine one game, and because he needs that love, he needs somebody to love him. Sofiane Boufal is extremely talented.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Ben Arfa as well, another player I think with Moroccan origin for
Yeah.
France. Gifted guy, but if you don't love him, he doesn't care. His attitudes would stay. And then that midfield, I've always had this argument, even on our platform, that midfield is the key. If you can sort out your midfield, your defenders won't have to kill themselves. Your attackers won't have to kill themselves that much. If you have, and they have that man who I'm raising my hand to say I've been my two hands. I've been vindicated about Sofian Amrabat, who I have screamed about.
Yes, you.
Soji, you're my witness.
Yes, you have. Yes, you
I
have.
have.
And I,
I said Tottenham would not go wrong if we got him and we got Bentancur. Any of the two, but I wish we could have gotten both
yeah.
because he's that kind. He's
I
a
think
very good
if we had
shield.
both, if we had him and Bentancur, I'm pretty sure that Højbjerg would not be in that team. I'm sorry, you know.
Yes,
Um,
and we love Højbjerg. Højbjerg, we love you, respect you, but
but it would
Sofian
add
Amrabat
that to
is,
the depth of that squad because you
oh my
have.
goodness.
I mean, you have. It will be difficult to even choose a team because I mean, you can imagine having those three in your team. Anyway,
So
um,
I think from our point of view, what Conte is trying to make Bissouma do for Spurs, Amrabat can do
mm,
rather than being made to play that position. I think he's making Bissouma play defensive midfield position when Amrabat is a defensive midfielder that can play forward, while Bissouma is a central midfield player that can go forward. That's how I look at it. But I'm not a coach. I'm not saying I know more than Conte, but that's it. But Sofian Amrabat, to so many people, is a revelation in this World Cup. I'm happy he's getting his flowers from pundits and fellow players alike. But it's something we saw as Spurs fans leading up to his transfer. Some fans didn't agree. And then you go to Bono. To a lot of people, they're discovering Bono now. All of a sudden, they realize, hold on, this is the goalkeeper of the year in La Liga, playing for Sevilla.
yeah,
He is he is everything in this World Cup to them. He has been an amazing goalkeeper. He has saved them. He has put his body in the way, and during penalties, he has a very, very analytical mind. I don't know how he scouts the players that play the penalty. He has been really spot on, and he's been a revelation. And once again, another player who he has sold his market. Come the end of this World Cup, these two players you have up here, I don't think they will remain with their clubs. Their clubs will find it difficult to hold on to them.
hold on to
I
them.
think so.
Because bigger fish will come flying, come flying.
But the same thing too, I believe it's a derby. France against Morocco is a derby, and you and I both know from our team, derbies are unpredictable. There's no favorite in a derby.
This is
Anything can happen.
this is it.
And I too am backing Morocco. I have a 1-0 Morocco in my heart. I will judge it, I think, based on the first 30 minutes. If France can break the deadlock with more than 2 goals in the first 30, I think it's game over because Morocco has struggled to score multiple goals in
Yeah.
games. But if that is 0-0 at halftime, my brother, I can only say watch for Morocco to hit them once and just close shop.
Right. So from all our indications, it's looking like on your end, it's looking like Argentina on that side against Morocco.
Argentina,
So we
South
both,
America, Africa
yeah,
final.
we both agree that Morocco will be in the final. I mean, from our own predictions, right? But I
Of
say
what
that
we
Croatia.
want,
I
yes.
think it's going to be Croatia, Morocco. But we'll come to that. But
Wow,
it's
that would be interesting.
been an amazing World Cup without a doubt. An amazing World Cup on so many different levels. We've had absolute fun, upsets, shocks, and a lot of drama in the process as well. It's been super fantastic having you, Chuma. Last word.
Thank you.
I give us your last word. Say
Well, I would be over the moon for Africa to win the World Cup. That's all I can say.
absolutely, absolutely. We'll still preview this. We'll preview the final I mean before the final. But, let's see how the semi-final matches turn out, right? In the meantime, thank you very much, and come on, you Spurs.